Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're prepping for a data analyst, data engineer, or backend developer interview, SQL questions are almost guaranteed to come up. In this video, I'm covering the 10 SQL questions that show up again and again in real interviews, with clear explanations and example queries so you actually understand the why, not just memorize an answer. Let's get into it. First question, what's the difference between where and having? This trips up a lot of beginners, where filters rows before grouping. Think of it as a pre-filter on raw data. Having filters groups after group by has already aggregated things, so if you want employees with an active status, that's where. But if you want departments with more than 10 active employees, you need having, because count is an aggregate. A simple rule, if the condition uses a raw column, use where. If it uses an aggregate function like count, sum, or avg, use having. Question 2. Explain the types of joins. Inner join only returns rows that match in both tables. Left join returns every row from the left table, plus matched data from the right. Unmatched rows just get nulls. Right join is the mirror image, and full join returns everything from both sides, matched where possible. In this example, a left join from orders to customers means we still see every order, even if that customer record was deleted. This is one of the most commonly asked SQL questions, so make sure you can explain it with an example, not just definitions. Question 3. Primary key versus foreign key. A primary key uniquely identifies a row within its own table. It can't be null and it can't repeat. A foreign key lives in a different table and points back to that primary key, which is exactly how relational databases link tables together. So in an orders table, order_ID is the primary key, but customer_ID is a foreign key pointing to the customer's table. This relationship is the foundation of relational design, so interviewers love asking about it. Question 4. What is normalization? It's the process of structuring your tables so data isn't duplicated and updates don't create inconsistencies. The classic levels are first, second, and third normal form. First normal form just means every cell holds a single atomic value, no lists. Second normal form means non-key columns depend on the entire primary key, not just part of it. Third normal form means non-key columns depend only on the key, not on each other. In interviews, you don't need to recite textbook definitions. Just explain it as reducing duplicate data and keeping each fact in one place. Question 5. What's the difference between delete, truncate, and drop? Delete removes specific rows and can be rolled back since it's logged row by row. You can even add a where clause. Truncate removes every row and resets things like auto-increment counters, but it's minimally logged, so rollback support is limited depending on the database. Drop removes the entire table, structure and all, and there's no coming back from that without a backup. A common follow-up is, which is fastest? Truncate is fastest for clearing a table since it doesn't log individual row deletions. Question 6. What is an index and why would you use one? Think of an index like the index at the back of a book. Instead of scanning every page, the database jumps straight to the right spot. Most databases implement this as a B tree. The trade-off is real, though. Indexes speed up reads dramatically, but they slow down writes since every insert or update also has to update the index. So you index columns that show up a lot in where clauses, join conditions, or order by, not every column on the table. Question 7. When do you use a subquery versus a join? Both of these queries return the same result, employees in the EU region, but they work differently. The subquery filters using a nested select inside the where clause. The join combines the tables directly. Subqueries are often easier to read for simple filtering, but joins are generally more efficient and are required if you actually need to display columns from both tables. A good interview answer shows you know both and can explain the trade-off, not just that one exists. Question 8. How does group by work with aggregate functions? Group by takes rows that share the same value in a column and collapses them into a single group. Then an aggregate function, count, sum, average, min, max, runs on each group separately instead of the whole table. In this example, we get one average order total per region, not one overall average. The key thing interviewers check is whether you understand that every column in the select list must either be in the group by or wrapped in an aggregate function. Question 9. What is a window function? This is where a lot of intermediate candidates get tripped up. Group by collapses your rows down into summaries. A window function calculates something across a set of related rows, the window, but keeps every individual row in the output. So here, rank partition by department lets you see each employee's salary rank within their own department without losing any of the individual employee rows. Other common window functions are row underscore number, lag, and lead for comparing to previous or next rows, and running totals with sum over a window. Question 10. What does ACID stand for? Atomicity means a transaction is all or nothing. If one part fails, everything rolls back. Consistency means the database moves from one valid state to another, respecting all its constraints. Isolation means transactions running at the same time don't step on each other's toes. And durability means once a transaction is committed, it's permanent, even if the system crashes a second later. This is a classic conceptual question interviewers use to check that you understand what a database is actually guaranteeing behind the scenes. And that's all 10. If you made it this far, you're already ahead of most candidates who just memorize answers without understanding them. Let me know in the comments which of these questions you'd actually struggle with in a live interview. I read every comment. If this helped, subscribe for more SQL and data interview prep, and I'll see you in the next one.